Hey, what's up, everybody? I want to thank you for joining us. We are live today on this fantastic Thursday, and this is our Facebook group called Black Man. It's a Facebook group that's designed specifically for Black men who are ready to take their lives to a whole nother level. We will talk about everything as it relates to Black men in America, our culture, our identity, our people, and our love for one another. So today I'm excited to have you join us because I've got a hot topic that I think is really going to help somebody today, especially my Black brothers. Today's topic is simply entitled Black Man Tips on Dating Black Women. We are going to talk about that today. That's right, Black men. I'm going to give you some tips on dating Black women. Now, somebody might say, why not just call it tips on dating women? Well, because it is obvious and apparent to me that Black men have no issues or problems or challenges dating other women, but there seems to be a little struggle, seems to be a little confusion, seems to be something that's standing in between Black men and Black women. And listen, I want to be a bridge that helps us come together in the name of love, in the name of unity, in the name of our people. So today I want to talk to Black men specifically and give you some tips on dating Black women. I think you're going to like this one. Number one, I want to start with this. Ask her out with class and respect. How you ask a woman out is the beginning of everything. And really, they read a lot from the way that you approach them. What's up, shawty? That's a no-no. Hey, let me holler at you. That's another no-no. See, the way that you present yourself is the way that you are going to be perceived. The kind of man you are, what she can expect will all come from how you ask her out. So always when you ask someone out, especially a Black woman, ask her out with class and respect. Number one, it says, I respect you. Number two, it says, I've got a little dignity about myself. Now, if she says yes, here's what I want you to do. Be the example of a gentleman. If she says no, catch this. Be the example of a gentleman. See, sometimes in the dating arena, men will base everything on whether or not she says yes. And if she says yes, then they're cool. But if she says no, they become rude. Well, you never want to be rude because she said no, because number one, you are asking her to take a chance on you. You're asking her to take a chance on you being a gentleman, you knowing how to treat a woman, you knowing how to take her out on a date and make sure that she's going to be safe. And a lot of times that may be a lot for a particular woman based on what she's been through or based on the experience that she's had in the past. What you want to show her, though, my Black brother, is that you want to show her that you are a gentleman, whether she says yes or no. If she says no, then you should follow up. Well, thank you for considering it. And if you ever change your mind, please let me know. See, what that says is that you are something and someone that is unique, rare, and different. And we're going to talk about the importance of you establishing that you are definitely somebody that's different. Now, if she says yes, you definitely have to be an example of a gentleman. I have a lot of guys that I mentor and teach, and we've been talking a lot about this. Got other guys that I coach and different things, and I'm discovering that a lot of brothers simply, honestly, do not have a clue what it means to be a gentleman. We toss the term around, but if you've never had a father to really show you step by step by step, to really explain to you all of the different components of what it means to be a gentleman, what a gentleman looks like, then it's just this misnomer that we find very, very hard to emulate and duplicate. I want to take the mystery out of it and give you a couple of just powerful steps that will really help you project yourself as a gentleman, especially if she says yes. Number one, open all doors. All doors. You need to open them. Open her car door, whether going or coming. Open the doors to the building, whether going or coming. Your job as a gentleman is to open the door. What does that say to the black woman? It says, hey, I'm cut from a different cloth. It says that I understand that you are someone who is a gift from God. And I know you can open the door yourself. I'm not trying to insult you. I'm simply trying to take one less thing off of your hands. Let me get that door for you so that you can walk through like a queen and not have to touch a knob. Number two, taking y'all through Gentleman University. Number two, pull out all chairs. Pull out all chairs, my brother. When she gets ready to sit down at the table, don't you dare sit down first and then watch her have a seat. No, no, no. You take the chair that she's about to sit in and slowly but surely pull it out. And then she should step in front of it. And as she steps in front of it, you gently nudge the chair up to the back of her legs. And then she will sit down. And from that point, she will scoot up to the table. That's all it takes. But brother, it leaves a powerful impression that says, I'm cut from a different cloth. I know how to be a gentleman. Number three, Gentleman University, just a quick crash course for my black men. Number three, listen when she talks to you as if she is the only person in the room. This is a key component of being a gentleman because a gentleman knows the power of listening. And you listen as if she's the only person in the room. I'm going to talk a little bit more about that before I'm through with this session. Number four, Gentleman University. Let's go to school. Number four, this is at the end of the day. Text or call to make sure she made it home safely. Oh, my brother, this is a big one. This is a big one. Why is this a big one? Because this one says that even after the date is over, I'm still thinking about you. Even after the date is over, I want you to know that I was concerned about your safety and your well-being. And I just need to know before I go to sleep that you made it home safely. You want to talk about leaving a powerful first impression? You want to talk about leaving a lasting impression? These are some very simple things that every man, especially black men, should incorporate to declare themselves as bona fide, certified gentlemen. Now, as far as the date is concerned, I want to tell every brother, listen to me, you need to be prepared. In other words, have the date planned so that she can enjoy spending time with a man who is decisive. I know oftentimes as brothers, when we ask a lady out and she says yes, we think it's, I don't know, cordial or civil to inquire and ask her, what do you want to eat? Where do you want to go? Brother, trust me, most women want you to make that decision. Why? Because she makes decisions every day about what she's going to eat, where she's going to go. But on a date, it's an opportunity for her to be in the presence of a man who is decisive, to be in the presence of a man who has put some thought into this date of which he asked her out on. And she gets to enjoy sitting back and enjoying a man who's made some decisions. So pick a restaurant, pick a time, make sure it's a good time for her. And say, okay, this is where we're going to eat. Or better yet, surprise her. Now, if she needs to know because maybe she doesn't know you or maybe she is trying to, take a risk and may have some trust issues, then you have to let her know where to meet you. Some women won't allow you to pick them up on the first date. And I totally get that, totally understand it. That's a safety precaution because in the event that the date goes left or you act crazy, they've got their own way to get home. So don't be bothered by that. If she doesn't want you to pick her up, always be a gentleman and say, hey, no problem. I do understand. Here's where we're going to be dining this evening. Here's where we're going to be dining for lunch. Don't say eating. Everybody says eating. Again, you are trying to establish yourself as someone who's cut from a different cloth. So this is where we will be dining for lunch or dining for dinner. Give her the name of the restaurant. Give her the address of the restaurant and let her know what time you ought to meet her there. Now, if she's meeting you there, you need to beat her there, not meet her there. If the lunch or dinner is set for 12 or the lunch or dinner is set for 6 or 7 or whatever time it's set, you need to be there at least 15 minutes before she arrives. Number one, you want to be there 15 minutes before she arrives so you can dip your head into the establishment. Let the waitress or waiter or maid or d or host know that you are there. Kind of get an idea of where you want to sit. If you can, go ahead and secure the table where you want to sit and say, party of 2, we're going to be here eating at your establishment. We would like to sit there, and go ahead and get that squared away. This is what it means to be prepared and to plan so that when she shows up, you're standing outside, not inside the restaurant, sitting down, eating on some bread. No, brothers, let me help you. No. You're standing outside waiting for her, looking for her. And when you see her, if you can, get to the vehicle, open the door to her car, greet her. So glad you can make it. It's good to see you. Escort her to the restaurant, open the door. She goes into the restaurant. The host will see you. The waiter will see you, whoever you've spoken with, and they'll know that you are there with your date for dinner or lunch, and you will proceed to your table. This makes a powerful impression. This makes the kind of impression that makes a woman want to get to know you better. And it leaves an impression that says this young man or this gentleman may really be different from all the other men that I've ever been out on a date with. Now, as far as the date is concerned, I want to be very honest with you guys. And brothers, you can ask any woman this. It doesn't have to be expensive. It doesn't have to be expensive because you're trying to get to know her as well. And she wants to get to know you. And it doesn't have to be expensive as long, catch this, as the environment is nice and the atmosphere is pleasant. It doesn't have to be expensive as long as the environment is nice and the atmosphere is pleasant. So you want to take her to a place that's clean. You don't want to take her to a hole in the wall. Not for your first date. I don't care how good the food is. You don't want to take her to the hole in the wall. You want to take her to a place that kind of gives her the impression that you are a man of class, a man that is decisive, and a man that understands environments and atmosphere. I promise you, she'll appreciate the fact that you chose a place that had those two qualities. Now, let's say you're sitting at the table and the date is really about to proceed. I want to bless you, empower you, and teach you with something that is critical. Black men. For Black women, the conversation is everything. You have to provide good conversation. Why? Because for women in general, conversation is extremely meaningful to them. So you sitting there saying, yeah. Or even worse, women tell me that they go on these dates with men and the man is silent. She can hear him chewing, but she can't hear him talking. Oh, my God. Again, you asked her out on a date. So you got to understand that she is looking for some conversation. How else is she going to get to know you? And how else are you going to get to know her? So be prepared to give good conversation. Now, I'll tell you this, man. Women hate being on a date with a man who talks about himself the whole time. So let me be clear. When I talk about giving good conversation, I'm not talking about you talking about yourself for 30 and 40 minutes and going on and on about your accomplishments and going on and on about your life. Brother, that's not good conversation. That's a one-sided conversation. That's what we call monologue. What she's looking for is a brother that knows how to give some dialogue. So don't be the brother that sits at the table and talks about himself the entire time. No, when I tell you to provide good conversation, she wants you to ask her intelligent questions that allow her to tell you who she is. Why? Because She thinks that you're trying to get to know her because you asked her out on a date. So ask intelligent questions that allow her to really express herself. Again, intelligent questions, not stupid questions, not dumb questions, not lazy questions. That's why I'm telling you gotta be prepared. She wants to get to know you too. Don't get me wrong. But if all you do is talk, it makes you seem selfish, immature, and narcissistic. And brother, let me tell you something. That's not the impression you want to leave on the first date, because more than likely there won't be a second date. Now listen, I'm going to tell you exactly what to ask her. I'm not just going to throw you to the wolves and have you figure it out on your own. No. I'm going to take you by your hand, man to man, and I'm going to give you the keys. I'm going to give you the book. I'm going to show you. I'm going to tell you. I'm going to demonstrate exactly what to ask. Questions like this right here. What's a typical day for you? That wasn't too hard. Simple question. Tell me, what's a typical day for you? What that does, that allows her to talk about herself, her day, what her days are like, and it allows you to come across as somebody who's legitimately interested in getting to know her. Here's another question, one of my favorites. Tell me 3 things that you are extremely passionate about and why. Oh, that why. See that why. That why says, oh, this man, I put some thought in this right here. This man giving good conversation. Tell me 3 things that you are extremely passionate about. Notice I threw the extremely passionate about, because we don't just want to hear about the things she's passionate about in general. We want her to purposely select the things that she is most passionately about. Because when she talks to you about those things, my brother, oh, she's going to give you that passion. You're going to hear it in her voice. Her eyes are going to light up. She's going to sit up straight, and she's going to enjoy talking to you about the things she's passionate about, because I can promise you, she's not asked often by many people, especially by many men, about the things that she's passionate about. And then because you really want to be the guy that comes across as interested, you want to know why she's passionate about it. Yeah, don't just tell me what you're passionate about. Break it down for me. I want to know why you're passionate about these 3 things. Now, listen, I want to tell you, every conversation that you start on a date with a woman, you want to do this. You always want to start with open-ended questions. I wouldn't start with the questions of the passion and why. I would start with open-ended questions. Questions like, just tell me about yourself. So just tell me about yourself. See, that open-ended question is powerful, and it's the best way to begin a good conversation. Here's why. Because open-ended questions allow her to steer the conversation in whatever direction she's comfortable with. So you want her to be comfortable in the conversation. You want her to be comfortable in the environment. And you want her to be comfortable with you, talking to you, conversing with you. So what do? You deliver an open-ended question that allows her to go wherever she wants to go with the conversation. And you are going to listen to every word she has to say. Now, listen, I got to tell you something, brothers. When you learn the master and the art of conversation, you got to understand that when you deal with women, listen to me, my brothers, that it's important that you let her know 2 things. 2 things you got to let her know. Number 1, you got to let her know that you're listening. Number 2, you got to let her know that she has your undivided attention. These 2 things right here are game changers for any black man that will come to the school. Come on, that'll come to the school and get the knowledge. I'm telling you, let her know that you're listening, and let her know that you have her undivided attention. Now, let me catch you, because the one thing you don't want to do is say, hey, I'm listening. Oh, by the way, you have my undivided attention. No, don't do that. Don't do that. Here's how you let her know you're listening. Here's how you let her know she has your undivided attention. By giving her consistent eye contact with a smile as you lean in a little towards her. Brothers, if you can master this, women will just love talking to you. They will love talking to you. Why? Because when they speak, you give them that constant contact, not the creepy eye contact. Not that. That's creepy. That's creepy. Just a little smoky eye with a smile as you lean in. All of this is body language that says, baby girl, I'm listening. Uh-huh. And you have my undivided attention. Brother, let me tell you something. If you can accomplish this, you are well ahead of the game as it relates to women, as it relates to dating, as it relates to conversation, especially as it relates to black men and black women, because black women love a black man that knows how to listen and engage her intellectually. Ooh, this is good. Now make sure on the date, all the way through the date, let me help you, because you want to communicate that you're listening, because you want to communicate that she has your undivided attention. You must make sure that you don't have roaming eyes while she's talking. Very important. This is critical, brothers. A lot of times guys go on dates, and because there are other women in the room, other women that they, are distracted by, that male thing where we want to look and see, and you are roaming the room, you're scanning the room. To a woman, that's very disrespectful. To a woman, you come across as disingenuous. You invited her on a date. The least you can do is focus on her. Can you focus on me? That's what she wants. That's what she's trying to see. Can you focus on me? So what do? Brothers, you lock out and you lock in. I'm listening to you. You have my undivided attention. How do you know? Because look at my eyes. I'm looking in your eyes. Yeah. Look at my smile. I'm smiling while you're talking. Look at my posture. I'm leaning in because I want to show you that I'm interested. Woo, brothers, I'm giving y'all the keys to the kingdom. Now, listen, also make sure, this is very important. A lot of guys make this mistake because they aren't listening, because they aren't paying attention. They're just trying to go through the motion. No, listen to me. Here's the biggest mistake a lot of guys make. Make sure you don't ask the same questions over and over again. Because if you ask the same questions over and over again, it proves what? You're not really listening. And she says, well, I just told you that. I just answered that question. I just said that. And then you're busted because you weren't really listening. I'm trying to give you some tools that I know a lot of guys simply didn't have growing up, didn't have a father, didn't have a man in their life, didn't have a man to really show them or teach them what I'm teaching them. So I'm taking this time, especially black men, because a lot of us have had to grow up on our own. A lot of us have tried to figure it out on our own, or we listen to guys who should not be teaching. I want to bless you. I want to see you succeed. And I want to see you approach black women with a great deal of confidence and know how to present yourself on a date that is impressive. How to present yourself on a date that makes that black woman say, you know what? I wouldn't mind seeing you again. I wouldn't mind talking to you again, because there's something about you that is extremely different. Something about you that's extremely unique. Now, as you're talking to her, I want to give you a couple of clues, a couple of tips, a couple of insider information. Number one, pay attention to her eyes. Pay attention to her eyes. And I know as men, we are visual creatures. And sometimes while women are talking, we kind of focus on their breasts. We kind of focus on their body. We kind of focus on their physical features and their physical appearance. But I want to bless you with something, gentlemen. If you'll learn to focus and pay attention to her eyes will give you way more information than her mouth will. Why? Because her eyes are going to light up at certain times when she's talking. Her eyes may even drift off when she's talking about certain parts of her life that may have hurt her or may have caused her to have some trust issues. So pay attention. Be a student of her eyes. I tell guys all the time that if you ever go on a date with a woman and after the date is over, you don't know the color of her eyes, you failed. You failed because you should be paying that degree of attention to know the color of her eyes. Why? Because you are watching her eyes, getting messages that she's sending to you, and she may not even be aware of it. Number two, make sure you listen and remember what she says. Now, this is huge, guys. Make sure you listen and do what? Make sure you listen and remember what she says. Nothing impresses a woman more than a man who remembers what she said. Oh, she's flattered that you listen, But if you can remember what she said, not just next week, I mean a month later. I remember we talked about such and such when we were at the restaurant, and you said that this was a passion of yours, and I just want you to know that I did some research and here's some information relating to the passion that you say you have. Huh. Man, you want to be impressive? That says, okay, not only do I listen, but I remember. That's a guy that any woman would be happy to have a conversation with. Now, here's one that we don't get taught a lot, but I want to teach you so that you can be a different kind of man, especially as it relates to being black men. No matter how good she looks, brothers, listen to me. Do not talk about sex on the first date. And I know it's done. I know it's done. Let me tell you why you should not talk about sex on the first date. You should not talk about sex on the first date because I promise you, 99% of the guys that she's dated, that comes up on the first date. Do you know what it says when you have to talk about sex on the first date? That says that you don't have a whole lot of conversation. That also says that you may have ulterior motives for even asking her out on the date because your mind is already talking and thinking about sex and you haven't even taken the time to get to know her or given her the time to get to know you. So do not talk about sex on the first date. Don't do it because it represents you as a man who may be just interested in a one night stand or maybe just interested in some recreational sex. Last but not least, in this particular subject, do not try to go home with her on the first date. Again, I know it's done. I know it's done. Can I take you home? Can I come in? Can I get a nightcap? First date? No, 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 no. What you are trying to do, my brother, is establish yourself as a gentleman, to establish yourself as someone who is different from all the rest. So no matter how good she looks, if you want it, act like you don't. Okay? I know, I know, I know. Different from what we do, different from the culture. But I'm not here for regular guys. I'm not here for guys that want to be like everybody else. No, no. I'm here for guys that want to separate themselves from the masses. I'm here for guys who really want to find out how to be that guy instead of just being a guy. No matter what, be yourself. That's right. Be yourself. Be who you really are at all times on the date. But catch this. Tell her to be herself too. Tell her that you want her to be who she really is on the date. The reason why this is important, because oftentimes on dates, we're so busy putting our best foot forward that we wind up putting our fake foot forward. Oh, man, that's good. I got to say that again. Oftentimes on dates, we're so focused on putting our best foot forward that we wind up putting our fake foot forward. And I get it. You want to make a good impression. But what good is it to make a good impression if the good impression you made turns out to be a false impression? Oh, this is good teaching. So this is why you want to free yourself to be who you are, but you want to free her to be who she is. Why? Because it's the quickest way to discover if the two of you should go on another date or not. So the first date is prime time for you to be you, for her to be her, and for both of you to really analyze, where do we go from here? Does that make sense? Good. Last but not least, as I get ready to close, this is our Facebook group, Black Man. So excited to share this with brothers. We're talking about teaching black men how to date black women. Powerful. Please share this if you've been blessed by it. Last but not least, I need every man to hear me. Black men, I need you to listen to me. When you invite a woman out on a date, at the end of the date, after we have eaten and had amazing conversation, make sure you pick up the check. What? That's right. Pick up the check, pay for the meal. This culture has got us twisted. And this culture has us inviting a woman on a date, expecting her to split the bill. Come on, bro. I told you in the beginning, that if you're going to invite her on a date and she says yes, be prepared. Well, being prepared means that I am fully prepared to pay for the meal, the appetizers, the dinner, the date. I'm fully prepared. I would have never asked you out if I were not fully prepared. You say, well, man, I'm not accustomed to doing that, Pastor Troy, because, I might not get nothing. That's why you're here, because I'm trying to separate you from the dogs. I'm trying to separate you, come on, from the boys and from the babies. Come on, and from the puppies. I'm trying to put you in a different class and a different category that says, I am a man of value. I'm a man of dignity. I'm a gentleman. I'm a classic man. That's one of my favorite songs. I'm a classic man. You want to be a classic man. So what that means is, I got it. I'm going to pick up the tab. Glad to do it. And here's the crazy part. Some of y'all probably never heard this. I'm going to pick up the tab, pay for the meal, and I don't want anything from you. Oh, wait a minute. What did he just say? Yeah. I'm picking up the tab, paying for the meal, and I don't want anything from you. Do you know how rare and how impressive that is in 2021? You know how many dates women go on, and when the bill comes, they expect for the brother to pay for the meal because he invited her out, and he's sitting there looking at her, and she's sitting there looking at him, and she's like, I know he's not finna try to do what I think he's trying to do. And he's sitting there looking goofy, wondering why she's not picking up the tab. Some brothers even have the audacity to invite a woman out on a date. Shame on you. And have her pick up the tab. Oh, I left my wallet at home. My check didn't come in. Oh, if you'll pay for this one, I'll square you. I'll square you away and I'll take care of you. I'll reimburse you. Come on, brother. Come on. I'm teaching you what it means to be a gentleman, what it means to be a man of class. So be prepared. Pick up the check, pay for the meal. Again, be the example of a gentleman. All right, here's the last one, and I'm done for today. Honesty up front and all the way through the date. What do you mean? Be honest. Be honest. Up front and all the way through the date. Because there's nothing worse than beginning an interaction with a woman on a foundation of lies. Because let me tell you what I know. Sooner or later, those lies are going to come back around and bite you in your behind. When it's just best to be honest. Now, that honesty may cost you a second date. That honesty may cost you the possibility of a relationship. But if you've always been honest from start to finish, I promise you, in this life, things will come back to you simply because you chose the path of honesty. Liars come a dime a dozen. And many men just lie for recreational activity. They lie just because they can. And what that does, that creates this travesty of distrust as it relates to black women and black men because they've been lied to so much. So be the guy that doesn't lie. Be the guy that's honest up front and all the way through the date and all the way through the interaction that you have. And I promise you, you will go further in this life. Here's why. Because the goal in dating black women is to separate yourself from every other guy that she's met. You want to be different. And this is tips on dating black women for black men. I hope you've enjoyed this. This is our Facebook group, Black Man. I am your host, your teacher, your guide, your leader, your mentor, your sensei, Pastor Troy Wynn Sr. Share this with a black man today so that we as black men can rise up to the level and the status where we belong. God bless you. Have a blessed day. Man, I've enjoyed this. Don't forget to share.